pra te encontrar. Menina que vem de lá, sonhando com esse lugar. O sol em seu coração, eu corro pra te encontrar. Menina que vem de lá, sonhando com esse lugar. O sol em seu coração, eu corro pra te encontrar.
Hello everyone, what's up? And welcome to another episode of Theory Thursdays. So nice to be back and see you all again. Let's see who's in the chat. Okay, some nice familiar faces. What's up, Andrew? What's up, Mike? Nice to see you here again. For those of you that are new to the channel or new to 343 TV, we do live streaming every day at 1 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central European time. That would be 10 a.m. if you're on the West Coast. Yeah, my name is Max Wild. Have been nominated to be the theory specialist, and I've been teaching you guys about music theory every Thursday at 1 o'clock. So looking forward to another great episode. I do have a couple announcements, I guess. First of all, the school in New York City has been closed, and we are now getting ready to reopen the school. Obviously, within taking all the necessary precautions. Classes are going to be really small to make sure that everything is super safe. But we're really excited. We're probably going to reopen in a couple weeks, so keep your eyes open for that. I'm in Berlin right now, and we are opening our second location here, which is also really exciting. So if you ever want to come out to Berlin, it's an amazing city, amazing music industry here. Obviously, all the clubs, the legendary clubs, the music here, the producers. Type in the chat where you guys are at. Okay, so I'm in Berlin, and let's see, Andrew, I forget where you're at, and Mike, where are you watching from? Then also, right after this, we have, well, not right after, but at 7 p.m. we've got TAETRO Talks. Creative director and YouTuber, dope producer, TAETRO, bringing a different artist every week, and I forget who he's bringing tonight. She's really, really cool though. I'll have to look it up, but definitely stick around for 7 o'clock. Really dope producer. Her name just slipped my mind, but she's got a YouTube channel. Really cool. I think her name's Sarah something. Okay, and what else? So we're actually in week 4 of 343 TV, and originally we were only planning on doing 4 weeks, but the reception, Deliria, what's up from India? Hello, cool. Thanks for joining us. And Andrew is in Halifax. Okay, that's right. Canadian. Okay, cool. So we're literally all over the world. One of the cool things that came out of this actually is that we are now everywhere, but we're all connected through like this kind of thing, live streaming and such. So I was saying that 343 TV was supposed to be 4 weeks, but the reception's been so great that we're actually thinking about extending it. Type in the chat if you give me an exclamation point or an emoji in the chat if you want us to continue with 343 TV, and that way I think we definitely want to extend it, and we also want to improve it. So if you have any suggestions or anything we could do better, just let us know. That said, our giveaway today, we have a giveaway, of course, like every day in this 4-week period. Our giveaway today, there are 2 giveaways. The first giveaway is another $200 Ableton voucher. Okay, that's a $200 voucher to buy anything on the Ableton store. That could be go towards a live license. I could go towards an Ableton Push. It could go towards the sample packs, any kind of merch you find on the store. And then the second giveaway is going to be another 343 giveaway. It's going to be $343 off anything on the 343 site. Okay, so those are the 2 giveaways for today. And also, I just wanted to know if you guys had any questions about anything we covered last week. if you have any questions that we haven't covered yet, theory, as I'm a firm believer that, there are a lot of producers out there that are really, really cool that are not really big on theory, but I'm a firm believer that theory is always going to help you. Okay, it's never going to hurt you, and it'll really kind of speed up your process, and especially like finding the right notes, making sure that your melodies and your chords, bass lines, and everything is kind of meshed together in the right key. So I know for me, theory really helped me. But yeah, type in the chat if you have any specific questions, or there's anything you want me to cover. I think last week, I know last week we started covering chord progressions, and we're focusing on triads. Okay, let's just see who else just joined. Brolio Soto, what's up? And Rubal. Would love to see us continue. That's good to know. Nice. And Delirium's a fan. Cool. Thank you so much. Andrew is liking what we're doing. Cool. Thank you, Andrew. Delirium, it's 10:35 p.m. here. Okay. So I guess you are like 3 hours ahead. Is that? Of where I am, at least. Okay, so Thomas just typed in the chat. It's Sarah Too Ill for TAETRO Talks tonight. So Sarah Too Ill, definitely check her out with TAETRO. She is super dope. I checked out some of her music. Misbah Mayan, hey, what's up? TWD is back. How's it going? Naseem Ali, how's it going? Cool. So last week we covered, we were focusing on triads, okay? So just to kind of recap some of the stuff we did, we've got our C major triad here, and then we've got a C minor triad by just lowering the third by a half step. So major, minor, and then we started making chord progressions, right? So we learned that a lot of songs have a bunch of chords kind of strung together. So if you're in a major key, maybe something like that's a really famous chord progression, right? That's kind of every song kind of sounds like that. It's the 4-chord song. That's the 1. There's the 5 chord. There's the 6 in minor, and there's the 4 chord in major. And we talked about inversions, right? So you've got root position here. Then if you make this note the lowest note, so I'm going to take this note up an octave, that would be considered first inversion. Alright, if I take this note up, and now the 5th is the lowest note, still a C major triad, but now we're in second inversion, okay? Sounds slightly different. And the main reason, or the main difference, is just that now some of the notes are higher, so it doesn't sound as low, which maybe this is too low. You want like a brighter sound. See how that's quite a dark sound. If you put it up here, same notes, right? But second inversion in this case is going to be a lot brighter. All right. So we talked about inversions. And chord progressions. We also actually, this other cool thing I showed you was the open position. So if I take these 3 notes and I take the middle note and I put it up an octave, that is called open position. Okay, so now the notes are spread out. It's still the same 3 notes, but they're spread out. And if I went to, let's say, E minor, see how that's like much richer, much thicker. All right, Carl Hudson. He's a friend of ours from New York by the way of England. What's up, Carl? Got to practice those intervals. That's right. Practice your intervals. So that, just for those of you that don't know, an interval is a distance between two notes. Okay. So an interval would be, this would be an interval. That's a half step. This is a whole step. This is a minor third. This is a major third. This is a perfect fourth. That's an augmented fourth or diminished fifth. That's a perfect fifth. Minor sixth. Major sixth. Minor seventh. Major seventh. And that's an octave. So knowing your intervals is actually really important. It's like knowing your alphabet, okay? In fact, why don't we just start the lesson by going over the intervals? Because I feel like if you know your intervals, you can make any scale, and you can also make any chord. Because at the end of the day, scales and chords are just a combination of different intervals. All right, just like we saw that the major triad is just a major third and a minor third, and the minor triad is just a minor third and a major third. Okay. Let's see who we have in the chat. Mispa, and is there a way to figure out how the chords in a key? Yes. So Mispa, great question. Of course, it is really important to know what the chords are in a key. So when we talk about chords in a key, we talk about diatonic or non-diatonic. And diatonic means in the key. So if you're asking what are the chords in a key, those would be the diatonic chords. But you don't always have to be in the key. So for example, a lot of house music or a lot of electronic music which uses samples is just sampling one chord and then transposing that exact chord. And if you transpose a chord to another, like either higher or lower, it's not necessarily going to be in key. So that's this kind of sound, right? So like, wait, let me get like a minor sound. And then going to like, right, so that is, in fact, that's the seventh chord. We're going to cover seventh chords today, but that's just transposing that, this was the C minor to a B flat minor. It's the exact same chord, just transposed, but that would be an example of something that's not in key, okay? That's not in key. Let's see, can we do, let's do, no, that's not the view I want. Okay, let's go back to this. So if you want to figure out the going back to what Miss was asking about, how do you know the chords in a key? If you're in C major, right? This is just an example because C major is all the white keys, so it's fairly straightforward. So C major is my key, okay? And it's also home to the C major scale. So the C major scale is going to sound good in the key of C major. Now, a key, by definition, is made up of a root and then either a major triad, which makes the key major, or a minor triad, which makes the key minor. So major being more uplifting, minor being darker. Okay. Let's just stick to C major because everyone knows that scale, right? Now, Mispa, to answer your question, the chords in C major are only going to use notes from the C major scale. All right, so they're only going to use white notes. So the chords in C major would be C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and B diminished. diminished. Back to C major. All right, so if I wanted to make a chord progression in let's say C major, I would let me just make a beat real quick. I'm gonna make a I was gonna do some lo-fi hip hop with you guys, so all right, that sounds good. No, I don't like that. Let me slow it down a bit to like 92. Oh, that was off. Let's try that again. That was off too. I'm just going to quantize that real quick, which I don't normally like to do, but here it goes. And let me just quantize it, not by 100%, but by, oh, sorry. I was not sharing my screen, my bad. Hopefully that's better. Okay. So basically I just made this beat. My controller level is a bit hot. It's slight distortion. Thanks for letting me know. I will fix that. So actually quantize that a bit more. Okay, let's also quantize the bottom a bit. Command Shift U. Okay, so let's say we have this, right? And now, let's bring some chords in, right? So I could go. Alright, this beat is bothering me. Let's just fix that real quick. There we go. It just didn't quantize correctly. Try that again. So I'm going to show you a chord progression in C major. Here we go. And this is using only chords. It's only going to use these chords. Okay, I do see that my piano might be distorting a bit. So thanks for pointing that out. Here we go. Alright, so we've got, let me just pull these down a bit more. The chords there are C major. We've got, next chord is G major, A minor, and then F major, and those are all in the key of C major. So Misbah, I hope that kind of answered your question about figuring out what the keys to the chords are in a certain key. Cool. All right, so what I wanted to get into right now is some seventh chords, okay? We are going to all right, let's talk about seventh chords, right? So I'm going to switch over to the piano. A seventh chord, let's talk about seventh chords. A seventh chord is when you take the first note. Let's say you have C major. You have the first note, the third note, and the fifth, which would be a triad, and then you add the seventh note. Alright, so this is the seventh chord. Another way of thinking about it is you've got a third, you've got a fifth, this is a fifth interval, and then this is a seventh interval, and in this case it's a major seventh interval. Oh, you know what, before we go into that, I wanted to talk to you guys about intervals. So hey, what's up, Regine? Nice to see you. It really helps to understand intervals, actually, also for these seventh chords. So let's just talk about intervals. So the smallest interval is the minor second, or the half step, otherwise known as the semitone. Now, the best way to think about intervals is actually to think of a song name. That's how I learned them, at least, and that's also how I teach it. Like, every interval has a certain sound. Like, this is a very dissonant sound. And I like to think of Jaws, right? Then we've got the major second, which sounds like also dissonant, but right, so it reminds me of Happy Birthday. Then we've got the minor third, which kind of gives you that melancholy, dark sound, right? Reminds me of this song. Right, Green Sleeves. So that's a minor third. Then we've got a major third. So what's up, Chroma Beats? Not even gonna say anything because you gave up. Don't give up. Never give up. Small steps, okay? Yeah, you can do it. All right. Major third is "Oh When the Saints." Right. Then we've got the fourth. Perfect fourth. You can hear that it sounds perfect. It sounds clean. So that is Wedding Song. Then we've got the diminished fifth. Alright, that's the most really dissonant interval. Used a lot in jazz. And there I think of, you can think of The Simpsons. The Simpsons, right? Then you've got the perfect fifth, and I think it's Star Wars. Cool. Then I have the minor sixth. And another way that you can think of these is you can just count half steps. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 half steps is a minor sixth. And that would be Right, that song, theme from Love Story. I don't know if you know it. Everyone knows different songs, so if there's a song that reminds you of a certain interval, then, or an interval that reminds you of a certain song, then you should go with that. Major sixth, NBC, or My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean. Then the minor seventh. Minor seventh is, what do I think of there? Star Wars, I think. Or otherwise, the West Side Story, There's a Place for Us. There's a place for us. Oh. So. I don't know, some obscure songs, I guess. And then you've got the major seventh. And I just think of Over the Rainbow, the third note. And then the octave is also Over the Rainbow. TWD is saying, most of us who know a theme from Love Story because they were taught it as part of this exact lesson. Yes, TWD, you're absolutely right. If you ever took ear training or anything like that in school or in music class, then you would have been taught this song. Anyway, we are digressing, but it was a good digression because you do need to know your intervals. So let's get back to seventh chords. Okay, so as I said, let's start with the major seventh. So it's going to take the root. I'm going to use the root, third, fifth, and seventh. And here I have my major seventh chord. Now, let's just focus on that. It's a very bright sound, right? Let's play it with a beat. Let's get rid of that. I should just get rid of it. So. In fact, I don't even need these hi-hats. Let me just get rid of them. Cool, so the major seventh to me sounds really kind of mellow, okay? It's just like very spacey, very airy. And the intervals here are a major third, so 4 half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor third, so 1, 2, 3 half steps, and then another major third, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a major seventh chord. Now, let's try to make a progression with that, right? So I'm going to record something here that I like. You know what? Let me do it again. Let me just fix my mistakes here. cool. So let's analyze these. By the way, if you have any questions about anything that I'm doing, just give me a holler. Boulder voice lessons, what's up? Yeah. My good friend Josh is in the chat. Boulder voice lessons. If anyone needs a singing lesson, Josh is a super dope vocalist living in Colorado right now, in Boulder, I guess. We went to school together at Manhattan School of Music, which is actually where a lot of this theory comes from. So, hey Josh, thanks for joining. TWD, this is more instrumental than I know to play. It's definitely instrumental, okay? So if you're into making instrumental tracks, you're definitely going to need some chords. Don't you dare fix those. Okay, TWD, I'm sorry, I fixed a couple of those notes. Yeah, I'll put them back in for you. There you go. What button, Regina's asking, what button did I push to transfer the piano chords to Ableton? Oh, I just recorded them in real time, Regine. So, you know, I have my piano here, and then, you know, I just hit the record button here in Ableton, and it just records it in real time. So I'll do it again. TWD, if you want some dissonance, you got some dissonance right here. I'll leave it in for you, okay? Hey, what's up, Nefertiti? Okay, cool. Now, so this is our seventh, these are our seventh chords, and let's analyze it. I said that seventh chord is 4 half steps, 3 half steps, and then 4 half steps. Now the next chord, so this is C major 7. The next chord is G major 7, sorry, G sharp major 7. And you can see it's got exactly the same intervals, right? You've got 4 half steps, 3 half steps, and 4 half steps. That gives you that major 7 sound. Then you've got E major 7. So E, G sharp, B, and D sharp. And then you've got F sharp, major 7. All right, so. Now you know what? I kind of feel inspired by our man Justin Beck, and give an emoji in the chat if you saw Justin's stream yesterday. It was super dope, talking about house music. Justin's one of our really cool instructors, and he did a video tutorial on lo-fi hip hop, and I'm gonna use some tricks that he showed us in the tutorial. So number one, for lo-fi, what you want to do is you want to kind of filter out some of the lows and the highs to give it that lo-fi sound, and I'm going to do that with an EQ8. So let me find that EQ8, drop it in there, and I'm going to roll off the lows, and then I'm going to roll off the highs. Let's see what sound we get. Without that, it sounds like this. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit crusher in there to give it, to kind of break up the sound and bring out some of those artifacts. So wait, where is it? It is Redux, right? And I'm gonna turn this to soft, bring this up a bit, and turn on the bit reduction. There we go. Now we get towards that lo-fi sound. What's up, Jeffrey? Yeah, Delirium Justin session was really cool. And now, finally, what we're going to do is put a phaser on there. At least that was what Justin's chain is. By the way, for those of you joining, this is 343 TV. Today's Theory Thursdays. And for those of you that joined late, we wanted to know whether we should continue with the stream. So it's supposed to be 4 weeks, but we got such a good response that we're thinking about continuing. So if you want us to continue, please give us an exclamation point in the chat, okay? Or let us know somehow that you want us to continue. Also wanted to mention we've got some really dope classes coming up. We have, in fact, speaking about Justin Beck, Lewis Beck, he's got a vocal production class starting next Monday. So I really, really encourage you to sign up for that. It's a really popular class. You learn all about like how to process your vocals, or if you don't sing, working with a vocalist is always going to be a big part of a production. So you want to know how to mix those vocals. So you're going to be learning that in vocal production. Also, we have a songwriting class starting on Sunday. Really encourage you to sign up for that. You're going to be covering all the things that we learned here in Theory Thursdays and much deeper. So everything from music theory to writing lyrics to arranging your song, just kind of like really talking about focusing on the musical elements as opposed to the production, because quite often I find that people will be really good technicians and good at the production part of a song, but then when it comes to the musical, like what notes to use, what chords to use, etc., they get stuck, right? So the songwriting course teaches you all that. So those are starting up. Also really excited to let you know that the New York school is going to be opening in the next couple of weeks. So keep your eyes open for that. And if you're in Berlin, or if you want to can travel to Berlin, I don't know if it's possible yet. We're opening our school here in Berlin next week. We're really, really excited about it. I'm actually here to make that happen. So yeah. Really pumped. Spread the word. 343 Labs Berlin coming up, starting next week. Let's see. What else is? Oh, Vinny's in the chat. What's up, dude? Vocal production class was great. Glad you liked it, Vinny. Yeah, Vinny's one of our star students, and he took a bunch of our classes. So definitely a good person to talk to if you want to know what is covered. Okay, we're getting a lot of exclamation points. That's really cool. Yes. Hey Scott. Hey Manuel. Nice to see you back. Hey Roller8. Hey Juliana. Getting a lot of exclamation points. Okay, it looks like we're gonna have to continue. Okay, cool. So let's get back to the lo-fi and the major seventh chords, right? So finally, what Justin had in his chain was a phaser. So let's see what that sounds like now. there's our C major 7. There is our G major. So again, C major 7 going to A flat or G sharp major 7, going to E major 7, going to F sharp major 7. Now, the only tricky part with this is, well, you know what? Let's add a bass line first. So what I'm going to do now, to get a bass line, I always recommend playing, well, yeah, for the most part, you always want to play the root of the chord. So what I like to do is I like to just, let's call this chords. And let's just what I like to do is I just like to duplicate the track. I'm going to call that bass. And then I'm going to grab a bass instrument. Let's find a bass real quick. I think there's a hip hop bass in here which we could use. Hip hop. That's a kit. Let's use that. Actually, we want something more jazzy, right? Jazz bass. Let's see if we have anything. Nope. All right, we're in the deep vortex of. Oh, that's okay. Or dust funk. Nope. Alright, I'm just gonna go with this. Not spend too much time. But what I wanted to show you is that the bass is gonna play the roots of the chords. So you're gonna get rid of these notes, the notes that are not the root. And then you're gonna drop these notes down at least 1 or 2 octaves. Just see what that sounds like. Even lower. And let me just bring the velocity up. Alright, let's check it out. Okay, so now, what's hard is you've got all these chords, right? And we had the question like, are you in key? Are you not in key? What are the chords in the key? Well, guess what? We actually modulated like 4 times. Modulation is when you change key. So none of these chords are actually in the same key or scale, right? Which is very common for lo-fi, but it's also very common for anything jazzy where there's a lot of chords moving around, a lot of modulation going on. Now, if you were in the same key if the whole chord progression was in the same key, it would make it a lot easier to play a melody over it. But if you're changing keys, it's going to make it much harder. So let's see what we can come up with. And my recommendation is try to find a note that works over all the chords, okay? So what I like to do is I kind of like to noodle. I'm going to use that John Selway phrase. I like to noodle around the chords. And first of all, I'm just going to play each scale for that particular chord. So I'm going to play a C major scale, then I'm going to go to A flat major scale, E major scale, and then F sharp major scale if I can manage that. And then I'll try to find some melodic ideas that I like. And then if I really want to play like a more of a simple melody, then I'll probably go with a note that'll work over every chord or almost every chord. So for this, I'm going to make another track. So let's call this melody or lead, and let's pull up the grand piano. And oh yeah, before I forget, don't forget about the giveaway, guys. The giveaway today. I think you need to enter your. I think Thomas dropped the link in the chat. The giveaway today is $200 Ableton voucher and a $343 343 Labs voucher to go towards any class. Also, please subscribe if you aren't subscribed to us. Just hit the red button and the bell notification. That way you'll always know when we're live, and we'll always bring out cool content, hopefully. So if you're subscribed, you won't miss a beat. Please subscribe. Let's go for the lead, grand piano, and let's see what melodies we can come up with. Where is the grand piano? Alright, I'm going to use the Cymatics grand piano. Oh, it's got samples missing. Here we go. I'm going to... Alright, so I don't even know what the chords are, so I need to look at them. So here we go. And I'm just gonna noodle, so here we go. Alright, so there's my noodling. Noodle. Let me know what you think of my noodling. Let's take a listen. Some of the notes sound better than others. We're not gonna listen to the whole thing. Oh, and I totally wasn't sharing my screen. My bad. There's my screen. We got a question in the chat. Regine is asking, are the classes in Berlin gonna be in English or German? They're gonna be in English, okay? So it's crazy. Berlin is really cosmopolitan, and it's changing so quickly. You hear a lot of English spoken everywhere, so we've got a lot of internationals, and the other thing is that all Germans speak English, so I think for the most part it's going to be in English, unless there's a class that really wants to speak German, but I think it's going to be in English. Chroma beats some interesting sounds, thank you. Yeah, so basically what you saw there, and I'll just play it to you again, is it's kind of hard to find a melody that works over the whole thing because you're changing key, right? You notice that? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to play a melody with just stay in the same range, or I'm going to actually try to play almost the same note but change it so that I'm adjusting it as the chords move by. I'll just demonstrate to show you what I mean. Alright, so let me just show you what I did there, and that actually worked. I'm in the key of, or sorry, my chords are, and I'll just pull up my chords. And if I select both of them, I can show you exactly what's going on. I've got my C major 7 chord here, right, which is, and my melody is playing a G, which is in the chord of C major 7, so it's going to work. Then I'm going to change chords to G sharp major 7, and the G again works because it's the 7th. Okay, and then we came to the E major 7, and we had to change the G. If we'd played a G there, it would have sounded terrible. If I kept playing the G, just for the sake of it, let's see what that sounds like. Okay, so to my ear, that sounded like it was not in key, okay? So I like the G sharp, and then here we have the F sharp major 7, and we need, the G sharp is actually the 9, so that works. Alright, let's try another note for the melody. Alright, so I actually played 2 notes here. So again, I'm going to just show you what the chords are doing. Again, with Live 10, you can do that where you're showing the MIDI from 2 clips. I've got C major 7, and I'm playing an E and a C in the melody, right? So E, that's the 3rd and the root. And then I'm going to G sharp major 7, and I'm playing the 5th and the 3rd. Then I'm going to E major 7, and I'm playing the D sharp, the 7th and the 5th. And then I'm going to F sharp major 7, and I'm playing the what would that be, the 6th or the 13th and the 3rd. All right, so I think, let's see if we have, if we already have announced the winners. Let me check my phone. All right. So I think we're getting ready to announce the winners um, for the giveaway. Before I do that, though, um, just to recap real quick, what we covered today was seventh chords. Okay, seventh chords are going to give you that jazzy, lo-fi, hip hop, mellow sound. Okay, it's adding more color to your chords. Okay, quite often in a lot of, especially in pop music, we have triads, and the seventh is just the extension of that. Okay, and we covered major seventh chords. Okay, there's also dominant seventh chords, and there's also minor seventh chords, which hopefully we can cover next week. Um, and they have a different color or sound. Okay, and so when you're coming up with these chords, you've got to think of it like a color palette, right? It's like a painter is like looking for um, this color, and it's not just red, right? It might be like this, like red mixed with blue mixed with yellow, right? So you can kind of mix different sounds and kind of embellish them and make them give them more definition or make them more blurry, right? And that's what seventh chords allow you to do. There's actually well, we call a seventh is an extension of the chord, right? There's even more extensions than that. There's a ninth, there's an 11th, and there's a 13th. I'll just show you real quick. So if I have there's a triad, here's the 7th, here's the ninth, here's the sharp 11, and here's the 13. So you can, that's really taking it to another extreme with the extensions. Okay, that's all the extensions. Maybe we'll get there someday. But for now, we were just working with the 7th, and that's cool because that already adds a lot of color. So that's that, and yeah, just want to thank you guys all for watching again. Okay, please subscribe to our channel. That way we can keep you updated. Just hit the red subscribe button and the bell button, which will kind of give you a notification when we go live. Again, we've got a load of courses coming up. Justin Beck is teaching a vocal production course starting on Monday, and we've got a songwriting course on Sunday. New York School is opening in a couple weeks, and then we've got Berlin. Let's see if there are any last minute questions, and then we will announce the winners for the giveaway. So, TWD, what songs are running through everyone's head right now? Let me know. Chord Progressions has me at Midnight Juggernaut's Shadows. Okay, I actually don't know that song. Chroma Beats, yeah, I think the workflow is a bit more easy on Ableton compared to FL. Yeah, I hear that a lot. I hear that the Ableton workflow is really kind of intuitive. So I agree with that. Carl, keep it up. All right, thanks for joining, dude. And did I miss anything else? Mike, I generally have trouble with melodies. You're not the only one. It takes time and it takes practice to get melodies done. Delirium, I find it difficult to form good melody phrasing when I play over seventh chords. 100%. Okay, that's why hopefully some of the tips I gave you today helped you with that. All right, cool. I think we're ready to announce the giveaway winners. So again, a $200 voucher, and then a $343 voucher for 343. So the first prize, the $200 Ableton voucher, goes to Misbah Maya. Misbah Mayan. All right. Congratulations. You have won a $200 voucher to Ableton. Anything on the Ableton store for $200 is yours. And then the other prize, $343 voucher to the 343 store, goes to Naseem Ali. Naseem Ali, congratulations, you've won a $343 voucher towards any of our courses on our website. So congratulations. And let's see what else. And I forgot to announce, we have an open house in Berlin. So I mentioned that we're opening in Berlin. We're opening next week, July 1st. Please spread the word. Berlin, here we come. 343 Labs Berlin, July 1st and July 2nd. In fact, we had to open a second open house because the first one was fully booked. So we have 2 open houses on July 1st and 2nd in Berlin next week. Spread the word. We want to spread the 343 love over here across the Atlantic. So we really appreciate your support. But that's it for now. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Eu corro pra te encontrar. Menina que vem de lá, sonhando com esse lugar. O sol e seu coração. Eu corro pra te encontrar. Menina que vem de lá, sonhando